Sports Minutes with Raushan.
Money FM 89.3. It's time for Sports Minutes with me, Raushan. A special episode coming to you from the Orchard Hotel, where we've just recently witnessed the SPL Awards night. Who else but Deepanraj Ganesan alongside me? Enjoyed your company at the awards. Deepan, you enjoyed the event?
Yeah, I always love these end of season awards where deserving players, coaches get the due recognition. Always happy to see happy faces right at the end of the season, and that's what it was.
Yeah, there was a palpable sense of relief amongst everyone because it's been such a long season. Before we get stuck into the awards proper, let's rewind the clocks 24 hours because I had the pleasure of your company at Jalan Besar Stadium as well for the Singapore Cup final between the Lion City Sailors and BG Tampines Rovers. The Sailors winning 1-0 to complete a domestic clean sweep. Well deserved.
Well deserved. Almost for a moment, I thought you were going to say treble loaded there. But you know, I think the Sailors have been the best team by a mile in local competitions, and it's only right that they've gone on to achieve this. I mean, it was a dull affair, the final itself, but look, the best team won at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll hear from Mr. Treble Loading later in this episode, I assure you that. But we talk about the good stuff for the Lion City Sailors completing that domestic sweep. It wasn't all good because for BG Tampines Rovers, there was red miss in the air. Shah Shahiran getting himself rightfully sent off after a VAR check. Deepan, before I garner your thoughts on that incident, here's Shah Shahiran himself speaking 24 hours after receiving a red card at the Jalan Besar Stadium.
Of course, a bit sad, and of course disappointed with myself. It's not a professional thing to do, and I'm sorry to the fans also for having that behavior. And I'm sure I've talked to the opponent. We are good, and I hope to not do it in the future because it's quite important in football, in my football journey. So I hope to be better in the future.
So Shah clearly contrite after the incident. Rightfully so, I guess. What's your take on this, Deepan?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think I can understand the sort of feedback, if you want to call it that way, in terms of what the fans are saying. Totally valid. I think at the end of the day, you expect something more from a national team player, no less someone who has donned the captain armband not too long ago. But I just want to say this, sometimes we get too carried away by this red mist, if you want to call it as that, because at the end of the day, players, you know, they do tend to sort of lose themselves in big occasions, in games like this. And of course, you want Shah to control himself better, but I think a bit of the reaction has been overblown now, I would say. I mean, let the guy be. I'm sure he will learn from his mistake. Has he learned from his mistakes before? I mean, not quite, right? But I think all these experiences will only make him better, more seasoned. I thought he had actually a good game in the cup final. I think overall this season, he's been one of their better players as well. So I think we should also look at that. I mean, as much as we want to criticize him for this temper, for this red mist, I think we should forgive him and move along and hope that he does better as a senior player at Tampines Rovers.
Absolutely. I think this whole expectation as a senior player, both for Tampines Rovers as well as for country, is quite new to Shah Shahiran. He didn't need a second invitation to come on the show to issue that apology, and I think credit where it's due. It takes a man to own up to your mistakes, right? Let's move on to the good stuffs though, and that's the awards. Coach of the Year, Alexander Rankovic, alongside Mohammad Noor Ali and Gavin Lee, he was nominated. No surprise that Rankovic won it.
No surprises for me. I think when you are the coach of the best team in the league, then rightly so, you should be given that award. I think Noor Ali and Gavin Lee have done really well in their own regard as well, but I thought Rankovic would be the winner, and it's him who got it. I would just say, you know, that it's been a long journey for Rankovic. I think earlier in the season, we must hold our hand up to say we were some of those who criticized him because I think the football wasn't great, results weren't good. 5-0 against Tampines Rovers always comes to mind. But I think to his credit, he has turned it around in terms of getting the players to play effective football. I think that's what it was, right, for long patches of the season. And I think that's credit to him as a coach, because it's not easy to have so many star players, to get them all, you know, really driven to buy into your plans. And I think that's what they've done. And I know this is a Singapore Premier League awards, but I think what they've done in Asian competition shows you that this is a coach who has got everybody playing for him, and kudos to him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think over the course of the long season, pound for pound, he has proven to be the best coach in terms of the silverware. I hope whoever's listening got that reference. Now, I've long championed East Side, Best Side, and for good reason, because I grew up in the East, but also because the individual awards today, the Young Player of the Year and Player of the Year, both were won by players who play for teams who belong in the East. This is BG Tampines Rovers and Geylang International. We'll start with the Young Player of the Year, Seya Konori. Had a good season for BG Tampines Rovers.
Yeah, very good season. Back-to-back Young Player of the Year awards as well. Very good player, very stylish player, and very stylish today as well. I almost thought it was a Japanese model coming in to perform. But, on the pitch, he's been someone who BG Tampines Rovers have really benefited from. I think the way he links midfield and attack. Could he add more goals to his game? Of course, but I think a player like that, in terms of how he has provided the assists, the goals for his team, I think he's done really well. It remains to be seen, how do BG Tampines Rovers replace him if he does go.
You're already teasing us with the transfers there. I just want to zoom in on your inclination that a Japanese model was performing at the awards night. Plenty of people will bite your hand off for that. Before we talk about Seya Konori and the possibility of him moving, I want to talk about another Japanese hitman, and that's Tomiyuki Doi. A historic season for the Geylang International striker, crowned with the Player of the Year gong, rightfully deserved. It was almost a no contest, right, when he went up against Bailey Wright and Shawwal Anwar for that individual award.
Yeah, I saw him leaving the awards ballroom, struggling to hold up all 4 awards that he won today.
Should I got Bezakor to give him a couple of assists?
Exactly. I think Golden Boot. I think he got a special recognition award for breaking Grabovac's record, and of course the Player of the Year, Team of the Year as well. So I think well deserved. This guy, I've spoken to him several times. Over the course of the season, or even when he came back, and he was always very single-minded in what he wanted to do. He really wanted to, of course, player comes here, he wants to win the league, but you've got to see who you're up against. So next best thing is, individual awards. And I'm not saying that he went for the individual awards, but it's a byproduct of having a good connection with his teammates, having that really that desire, that power in yourself to go out and get these things done. Some of the goals he scored this season, it's a highlight reel on its own in terms of the kind of goals he scored. It's not just that 6-yard box predatory finishes, it's from outside the box. The goal against DPMM comes to mind. I think he's been a wonderful player, wonderful servant for Geylang this season. And just for as I said, for Konori, how will Geylang now replace Tomiyuki Doi is a question that they have to answer. It's a question that Noah Ali will have to think about during his holiday.
Funny you mentioned Mohammad Noah Ali, because he's the man we're going to hear from. This is Mohammad Noah Ali speaking about Tomiyuki Doi. Coach, good to be here with you. End of a long season. How are you feeling? Tired?
Oh, definitely, man. Tired, but it's nice. The season is end right now. I think it was a wonderful awards night tonight, and we still got a lot of good winners and deserving winners. Yep.
Special night for one of your players as well, Tomiyuki Doi, winning all the individual gongs. How proud are you of him?
Oh, totally, man. I'm very proud of him, because when he came into the season, he was 3 months out through an injury. We took a risk on him. But I think he has a wonderful season, and I really wish him all the best for the next club he go to. Yeah.
Are you going to tell us which club he's going to?
No, I'm not going to tell you where he's going to, but definitely a big club for him. And, I want to see my players do well, and I always say this, I'm happy for my players to get bigger contracts and go into big clubs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of departures, I guess your work for next season will start soon. How much of a break are you taking, and how much prep already for the next Geylang International?
Definitely I need some time with my wife right now. It's going to be, I'm going for a quick break with my wife, and then coming back again. I think we don't have much time. I think it's only 1 week, 1 month off, and then we'll be back again first week of July for pre-season.
So Mohammad Noah Ali there alluding to Doi's departure. He seems to say it's a done deal already. Deepan, that's where you come in as Le Professor. I know the teacups have been kept, but any tea to spill?
Yeah, I think it's quite clear now that Tomiyuki Doi is a man very much wanted by top clubs in the region. And from what I understand, he's already signed a deal with BG Pathum United in Thailand, the Thai Giants, of course. So well done to Tomiyuki Doi. I think sometimes you have to reflect on where we are as a league. This is a step up for Tomiyuki Doi, and I hope to see him do well in Thailand, because I think it's a league that's quite well suited for him in terms of a goal scorer that he is. So let's see how he does there, because you sometimes want to look at benchmarks in terms of like how a player that does well here compares it when he goes to Thailand. So I'm quite intrigued.
Do you think we'll live to see anyone beat Tomoyuki Doi and the record he's set in the SPL?
I mean, with how long the seasons are getting, I won't be surprised. Let's see, whether the fixtures in terms of how many games each team plays remains the same. But I think with the quality that's coming into the league, whether it's the Sailors who are bringing in all these top strikers over the years, Leonard T in his first season, you've seen what he can do, and I'm sure if he stays on for a second season, he's going to get even better, right? So I wouldn't say no. I think there's still something there, but don't take anything away from Tomoyuki Doi. It's been a marvelous season for him.
And you talk about Doi all but done to BG Patum. I haven't forgotten about Seya Konori. Is he on the flight to Thailand as well?
I believe so. I believe he's garnered interest from Bangkok United, and I think that's looking like it's already a done deal as well. I think expect him to be seen in a Bangkok United jersey very soon, and I think he's got a chance to play in ACL Elite if, of course, Bangkok win their qualifier and get into that competition. But regardless, I think I'm happy when players who, whether it's foreign or local, do well here and earn very good opportunities abroad. So best of luck to both of them.
On the topic of Tampines, it seems plenty is changing. Seya Konori, for one, might be leaving to Thailand. But the scoop that you broke on Sunday was that their chairman, Desmond, is stepping aside. Firstly, in terms of that scoop, which means you have a personal relationship with the man, what's your take on his tenure at BG Tampines Rovers?
Yeah, it's a bit hard for me to be objective because let me put it very clearly. I think I have huge respect for the man. Not as, I wouldn't say I'm a friend, but it's more of someone who's been involved in local football over the years. I think what he's done for the club, what he's done for Singapore football, how he's been a straight talker all these years, has benefited everybody. Look, I think sometimes on his own he creates storylines, right, in terms of the interviews he's given to the press over the last few years. But I think you really look at how, at the end of the day, these guys are volunteers. They add so much to our game. They add so much to our game through sacrificing their own time. And I would say I take my hat off to him, to what he's done at Tampines Rovers. You look at what they're competing against, the Lion City Sailors, but year in, year out, in most years, they have remained competitive with the Sailors. I mean, at the end of the day, Singapore Cup final ending in a 1-0 defeat to them against Sailors who have times 10 the resources that Tampines have. And then, of course, Tampines punching above their weight in regional competitions as well. I think this is really all down to not just him. I think he will also admit to also the management committee that he has. But I think Desmond has been a very loyal servant to Tampines Rovers. Prop them up, I would say. Let's see how the new chairman does. But I'm also happy because that Desmond is still staying, right? He's still in the FAS as deputy president. I'm glad to see such a mind being involved in our local football that way. So I think more is to come. But I would say it's been a wonderful journey seeing him as the chairman of Tampines Rovers, and Tampines Rovers will feel his loss. I mean, I know at the end of the day we want to hear positive, but definitely when you lose someone like that, it's going to be a bit of a loss.
Absolutely. And listeners, don't worry, we are working on getting Straight Talking Desmond on Sports Minutes very, very soon. Let's move it on to the SPL Team of the Year, which was also unveiled at the event. Unsurprisingly, featuring a strong LCS presence. 6 of the 11 players were boys in blue, so it's only right I caught up with Technical Director Luka Lalic on his thoughts. Luka, good to be here with you. At the start of the season, you said treble loading. Here we are, end of the season, treble delivered. How proud are you of the team?
Yeah, very proud of everybody, and the achievement made this season was really long but extraordinary season in the end.
I'm guessing when you said treble, you didn't think about the ACL2 campaign. The boys did really well on the continent. How proud are you of them?
Yeah, so proud. Of course, realistically, we were talking about domestic, but internationally, yeah, you can hope. Nobody expected this, but I think fully deserve how we ended.
With success comes eyeballs, right? Everybody's going to look at the Lion City Sailors now, and you are the technical director of that team. How hard is your job now to continue to keep up the bar that you have raised?
I think my job, Padri's job, our job is to make sure that everybody, including players and staff, have the best conditions to perform. And I think it's really what happens on the field. Everything is up to them. So we do our part, but obviously they did this part this season, and we hope to build from this season only up.
Deepan, we heard from Luka there. Your thoughts on the team of the year, the 11 players chosen. Anyone else who would have made that shortlist and hard done by not to make it?
I think the team picks itself. No surprises there. Maybe the only slight surprise, not because I don't think he didn't deserve to be in the team, but Leonard Thie, because I mean, you look at the sort of journey he's been on. I mean, he was criticised at the start of the season, and he came in a bit later than the rest, but he's lit up the league. But I say surprised because at the end of the day he has been left out of the squad because of the maximum foreigner count, and they've gone with other foreigners in the last few games at least. So that surprised me, but I think he deserves it. If you ask me who feels who should have been there, maybe Taniguchi, because of the number of goals and assists that he has. I believe he has about 14 goals and maybe 18 assists. Huge numbers for a club that ended third. And he's someone who I think Doi will really appreciate, because he does a lot of the running in and around the box and has given a lot of good assists to Tomoyuki Doi. I think that Taniguchi stays at Geylang, even though Doi is leaving. So it'll be interesting to see how Taniguchi has a partnership with whoever comes in next. Is it someone that he has worked with before? That's what I'm hearing. I'm sure that you've heard that as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens at Geylang now.
I mean, whoever comes in to replace Doi has to be a jumbo replacement, right? Absolutely. Now, Deepan, final question for you. The good thing about this long season is that we don't have to wait that long for the next season to come by. I believe August 10th is the date for the Community Shield to kick off. What's your one wish for next season?
Tough question to answer. I just want the quality of the league to get better. And that's something that's very hard to quantify, right? How do you say the quality gets better? That's a bit hard to quantify, so I won't go down the route. But what I will say is something that can be controlled, and that's the refereeing performances in the Singapore Premier League. When I say refereeing performances, I'm actually drawing what Peter Deru said in terms of the time wasting, the ball in play. I've watched way too many matches where the time added on after the game does not reflect what I watched during the game. We are shortchanged. And I'm not afraid to say that we are shortchanged as fans, as journalists, in terms of the games that we are watching. So I hope that's corrected. I hope that's something that the refereeing department looks back on this season. And next season, when the season starts, we will look at the refereeing department and say, hey, you know what? They did their job during the off-season. We are watching better quality games. Games are flowing. There's lesser time wasting. Time wasting is punished. And also, there's more ball in play. And correct time is awarded at the end of the game. So these are things I'm looking forward to seeing next season, because these are things that are in our control.
Absolutely. I can't wait for next season to start already. Deepan, don't worry, no off-season for you. I'll be having you back on the show very, very soon to keep us up to date with all the transfer news and the latest in Singapore football, starting with that national team assignment against Maldives and Bangladesh to come very, very soon. Deepan, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Sports Minutes on Money FM 89.3.